Good Saturday morning. I hope you're all well. Lovely to see you all. Thank you for joining in today. I'm so excited. There is so many of you on today. I've been having a sneaky peek. Good morning. I hope you're all well. My name is Toni and this is just a lovely hour or so to have a bit of freehand painting and maybe pick up some hints, tips, techniques, whatever it may be. Now, as you all know, I am not a professional, and the things that I show you in studio are just tips and techniques that I've learned along the way that have helped me to get better. Not perfect, just get better. So as long as we are all practicing and playing, it will naturally happen. You will just naturally get better. So if you are watching on YouTube, don't forget to click that subscribe button. There is a little subscribe button and there is a little bell which gives you the notice all the time that we go live. Now in today's studio, I'm obviously speaking to you right now here. However, when we go into the overhead, I will have to stay on the overhead. We've had a few technical issues. So when I go onto the overhead camera, that's where it will stay. However, if you do have questions, just pop that cue whilst you're going along and crafting along, and I will answer them as much as I can. So I hope you've all got a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, literally good to go. So the things that you require today are some watercolour card if you have some, a couple of brushes, maybe a size 4, or maybe a 6, an 8, what you have in your stash, and some watercolours, okay? Whatever you have in your stash, you don't have to go out and buy the expensive kit. And today we're going to paint some flowers and some leaves. So you all know that we did the leaves last time, we did the sunset, we did the poppies. So we're going to incorporate it all today and try and do a little bit of a masterpiece. So are we all ready? So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little 10-minute warm-up where we practice with some shapes, as we always do, and then we're going to put it into a masterpiece at the end. I hope this is okay. Everybody excited? Is anybody nervous? I'm nervous. I'm very tired today, by the way. My son was up all night with toothache. And when you can't help them, it's so painful to see them suffer. So, we're all good, we're all good. Right, so again, you have what you have in your stash. And then if you like what you're doing and you want to progress, you can then go out and find the things that suit you as a crafter. So, let's have a look. Everybody's good. So shall we just crack straight on this morning? It's a lovely morning, isn't it? So let's just have some fun. So I'll just talk you through now. So I am going to stay on the overhead now for the rest of the session, okay? But if you do have a question, just don't be afraid to shout and pop that question on there, okay? Because this is the only option we have right now. And that's what we're going to do. So I have my A4 watercolour card. If you have the A5, that's absolutely fine. And I'm going to work on my smooth side today, okay? I like the smooth side. However, if I'm wanting a little bit more texture and things like that, I swip it over and do it on the little bit more grainy side. But I do like my smooth side. So Michaela's saying, always nervous. It's a piece of paper. Come on, come on. It doesn't bite, I promise you. And even if you get it wrong, it don't matter. Just get another piece of paper. I know you're all going to be painting for the rest of the day when you've done this. So I just have my Himi paints here. You can see they are well loved. Not a lot of colours. You might have the Evergo ones, whatever you've got, and you just need some clean, clear water. Now, in my brushes here, look, I have a couple of brushes. So I've got a flat. I'm not sure why I've got a flat because I'm not doing any backgrounds or anything like that, but I do suggest you have a nice flat brush in your stash, maybe a bigger one if you've got one as well. I have got some brushes on the way that I've chosen, selectively chosen, some sizes and things like that. So if you're wanting to maybe get some inexpensive brushes that are going to be good enough quality to do these sort of painting sessions, I'll let you know when those land. But you might already have some. I've done one with a really fat one for, you know, for your backgrounds and your sunsets. And then I've got a lovely, lovely size 4 here. And a size, I don't know what brush that is, it's got nothing on it. So as you can see, I collect brushes, but I'll probably say that's a 3, a little bit smaller. So let's have a look. Any questions? Yes, poor Tom. He's sat out the back now. He's had a little bit of Calpol again this morning. I'm wondering if he's got a cracked tooth. So we have booked an emergency appointment at the dentist because it's just not disappearing. Yeah, it's been a tough old night, and at 10 to 3 this morning I put some music on, some like deep sleep music, and within 5 minutes he'd actually gone. But he was laid on me in such a fashion that I was laid so crook that now this morning my neck hurts, my shoulders hurt. Joys of being a mother, hey? So let's do some patterns, okay? So when you're thinking, well, what do you mean patterns? We're going to do some patterns simply because it's going to be the building block for your masterpiece, okay? So I'm just going to put my masterpiece or my lovely clean sheet of watercolour card on landscape here. I'll just move these out of the way. So what we're going to do, let's mix up some yellow. If you've got some yellow, it doesn't matter what tone of yellow, it's about the shape, okay? So let's mix up some yellow. Just a lovely yellow on your station here. So get it quite wet, so it's like a puddle on your palette. Can we see here? So it's not thick. Nice puddle of yellow. And what we're going to do, first of all, is we're going to paint an egg. Or what other shape? An oval. Okay, so let's just take this yellow here. So if you are crafting along, we're going to just paint a lovely sort of egg shape. That's my interpretation of an egg. And then I'm just going to fill it in. Okay, one nice egg in yellow. Looks great, doesn't it? Not. So I hope you're, so I'm just going to continue painting these eggs across the page. Okay, so practice those shaped eggs all across your page. Some might be a little bit wobbly, but we can tidy them up. That's not quite an egg, but there we go. So I'm going to paint another one there. Let me see that there. And then we do another one. So just painting some eggs to start with. Oh, that's a bit pointy. Oh, getting smaller, getting smaller. I'm going to round that off a little bit. So go the whole width of your page, like so. Just do them all in a nice yellow for now. If I go silent, it's because I'm concentrating. So as you can see, no two eggs are the same. So I hope you're all well anyway. So today's class was just to say, maybe apologise a little bit to say that we weren't opening the shop because of the government guidelines. So thank you for coming today. But we do hope that the shop will be opening on the 19th. I think that's the next date, isn't it, they've set? And we will try and put a demo day on and make it as super exciting as this one would have been. I have a whole bunch of sort of egg-shaped designs there. You should have no squares on your paper. If I say an egg and you've got a square, we're doing something wrong. Wendy says her chickens used to lay the weirdest shaped egg. You know, I really like a good egg, but if I catch sight of a feather or something stuck to the egg, I can't do it. I just can't go near it, because then it obviously solidifies the fact that it's come from a chicken. If it's nice and clean, I'm okay with it. But as soon as it's attached with a chicken feather or something like that, it's like, oh no, it makes it real where it's come from. Oh. Okay, so what we're going to do now, so that's a line of, say, pretty eggs, call them what you wish. And this time what we're going to do is we're going to do exactly the same, but we're going to twist our egg. So we're going to paint some eggs that are not, these are, well, you wouldn't say it, but upright eggs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do exactly the same, but I'm going to do them this way on this page. So I'm going to do my egg facing this way. Exactly the same shape, but I'm pointing it left of my page. Does that make sense? So I need to do a couple of these eggs here. So I'll sort of face them this way. See that there? Yep, so if you can't do it now, guys, don't worry about it. It's never going to go away. It's there. You can catch it when you've got 5 minutes, a bit of time to breathe. So you can see how they're facing this way. So I've done 3 facing that way. And on my next 3, I'm going to do them facing right of my page. Okay, so pick some more yellow up. I'm just going to So we've got some eggs sat on the bottoms. We have some eggs going left of my page, and we now have some eggs going right of my page. Oh, that's a big one. I'm not sure what happened there. They're getting bigger. I'll just give you a second to get through your left and right eggs. Or what else could there be? Petals could be, I suppose. Allergic to eggs. Oh, I love a good boiled egg. There we go. So next line, just mix a bit more paint here. What we're going to do is we're going to do an egg, but with a crack at the top. That makes sense. I'll show you now. So I'm going to do it upright, okay? So I'm going to go left to sort of create that egg. Then I'm going to go right to create my egg. And then at the top, I'm just going to put some zigzags in. See that? So it literally does look like a crack. And I'm going to fill it in. So you can have 4 cracks, 3 cracks. Hopefully you'll be able to see that. See the little cracks at the top? So I haven't done the top of the egg perfect. I've put some little cracks in there. So I'll do a few of those. So sort of left and then right. And then at the top, I'm just going to put some squiggles in. And I'm going to fill it in. Make it look more like an egg. You see that there? So you can see I've got different shapes, which is fine. I'm going to do another one. So left, and then a right, and then some cracks. I'm trying to make your cracks different. So I've got a different crack on this one. Look, I've made it taller at that end and shorter at that end. So you can see the tops, I'm doing them all different, or trying to. So I'm going to do another one, a left, a right, and then I'll do a lower crack here, and then I might go higher there. You see that there? And then I'm going to fill it in. Michaela says mine looks like a tulip. My gosh, am I a good teacher? Well done, Michaela. Well done. So let's do another one. So again, left, and then a right. And then let's create a different top to the other one. So a bit down and then a bit up. You see that there? And then we'll fill it in. So you can see I've got a whole host of different tops for my eggs on this one. So we did a row of eggs sitting on the bottoms, well, meant to be. Then we did eggs facing left of our page. And then we did eggs facing right of our page. And then we've done some eggs with cracked top, okay? All different cracked tops. So we have a little crack, we've all got different shapes of some manner, okay? Is that okay? Right, what we're going to do this time. So we're going to do exactly the same process. Or would it help if I do a darker colour? So let's do them in orange then. You can't see. Let's do orange then. I'll mix it in with my yellow, hey, not waste that yellow. So this time I'm going to do exactly the same with the cracked tops, but I'm going to do 3 facing left of arc and 3 facing right of arc. So what we've just done there, but we're going to twist them left and right like we did with our middle line there. Okay, so I'm going to do left, a right, and then I'm just going to pop those lines in. See that there? Is that better in the orange? And then I'm just going to fill it in, keeping those nice lines at the top. So that's left. Mine looks scrambled egg. So let's do another left one. And then this time we'll do a different top. See that there? It'll make sense soon, I promise. And then just fill in those. Another one. You see, I've got a different crack in that one there. So experiment with the tops. It's the tops that are key, and this is going to separate your flower heads as being unique and individual. So practice getting the different tops. So let's do some right of arc this time. So I'm just going to twist my design this way. They're getting bigger. And just draw some lines in there like so, and then I'll fill them in. I'm having to be tight now. I'm coming towards the end of my page. I'm going to do some really deep cracks on this one. Look at this one. Just experiment. A bit too much. So how are we all doing? I know you all can't type and paint at the same time, and that's absolutely fine. So I'll just give you a second to get through your lines, and then we'll practice the next part. And then I'm just going to grab another piece of card. I hope you have extras for our practice sheets. So what I'm going to do with mine now is I'm just going to push this one out of the way because I'm okay with that now. Okay. And then I'm just going to get another sheet for another practice here. And this time, on our second practice sheet, we're going to create some like tulip leaves. And you all have sort of the grounding for this already. So you'll remember when we did our last painting classes, can we remember? If you're new to the channel or maybe watching this for the first time, we always do tip, belly, tip. If you remember, shall we have a little practice at that and just sort of get our head around what we did last time? Because I know it's been couple of months or, well, how long has it been actually? Let's just get our head around the little ones first. So I've just mixed some green here with quite a bit of water. So if you remember when we do our leaves, it's like you put your brush on the pot on a point and you touch the paper with the tip of your brush, and then as it connects you push the brush down to the belly, and then you bring it back up to the tip and you get pretty leaves. Okay, so let's just have a quick play at that one. So I'll just try and do mine on an angle a bit so you can see my brush. So I've got the tip of my brush here. So tip, and then push it down onto its belly, and then bring it back up to its tip. You see that there? So let's just do a few more. So tip, belly, tip. You can connect them if you want to, so you can end up with a few. I know you were all really, really good at these last time. You all were super proud of your project last time and posted them in the Eureka fan page. So I know you've got the knack for the leaves. So I'm just going to do a few more. do some small ones and some big ones. So just get your wrist back into the idea of the toe, belly, belly tip, whatever your preferred terminology is. I'm sure there will be some correct terminology. This is just what I call it. Can you see these here? So a couple of leaves. So this is not the leaves that we're going to pop on our tulips today because they don't really have these types of leaves. But I just need you to get back into, from the eggs into the foliage. It was Saturdays in March. Thank you, Lynn. March, April. Oh my gosh, it's a few months now. And you can see already with myself how just by doing 4 or 5, and now my end one I'm really happy with. So it's a good idea sometimes if you are doing a bit of a painting, get that scrap piece of watercolour card out, just get your memory and your wrist back into the idea of what it is you're trying to do. And then when you're ready to do your masterpiece, you'll all be warmed up and have the confidence to do the best job you can because you've had a little warm up freehand. And if your leaves miss a little bit like that, don't fill them in because they'll look really pretty if they're left natural. Hi Dave, hi Janet. Hope you're both well, guys. So we've got, now really, I mean, if you just wanted to paint a card with green leaves, you could absolutely do that. And I think did we paint a Christmas card last time? Sorry, I have such a short memory. I'm just so busy, I can't remember everything. But I think we did something along the lines of a freehand painted Christmas card, didn't we? With the leaves, and you all attempted it. And you all did them in the gold metallics afterwards, can you remember? So we did some green and then we did some gold on the top, which were beautiful. So hopefully just doing those few leaves there has given you, you know, your wrist a little bit of recognition as to what we're trying to achieve and what we did last time. But if you are tuning in for the first time, I would suggest probably that over the course of however many days or today or whatever, if the weather's rubbish, just get a piece of watercolour card and just fill the page full of leaves. Absolutely, just play tip, belly, toe, whatever you need to do, and do some really big ones, do some small ones, do some connecting ones, because as simple as these sorts of things look, and don't ever throw it away, because look what happens here. I've just mixed a bit of red here, and if you start to just add some red, you can, you know, make into Christmas cards and things like that. So don't ever throw them away, you know, make them your own. So shall we? Yeah, confetti paint on black, we did, yeah. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to do some big ones. Now, the bigger ones are a little bit harder, so please don't beat yourself up if you can't do them. So I would say mix quite a bit of colour here with lots of water. It's like a puddle, you know, like a puddle you used to jump in when you were a kid. You can see through it. And I'm going to try and do a really big one of these leaves, because as you know, tulip leaves are quite big, aren't they? So I'm going to go from the top here, and I'm going to push down for as long as I dare go, and then I'm going to bring it down. Can we see that there? So I've done a really, really big one there. And as you know, tulips sort of like flop out everywhere, don't they? And the leaves tend to follow, so they sort of like droop a little bit, don't they? So I'm trying to do them so they're drooping. So I'm going to have another go here. So again, I'm going to go from the tip of my brush, and then I'm going to push my brush down. I'm going to go as long as I can. And then as soon as I've got to where I need to be, I'm going to taper it off back to that point. Yeah. And sometimes you get like a tip, don't we? You know, like I'll just paint it. You can get like a tip on the end. Sometimes where it's sort of like folded towards you. Can we see how it looks like the leaf maybe is folded towards us? But we'll stay away from that now, and you can, as you go along and practice, you can play and just enjoy and experiment yourself. So let's just do a few of these then. So let's keep going with the big ones. So load your brush with that water and get a really big one. And if it scratches and you get white areas in it, leave it. It looks beautiful. Just leave it. Okay, so I'm going to do some more. You see that there? So because I'm confident with my right ones, now I need to do my left ones. So have a go at some left ones as well. Now, I'm not the best with the left ones. I need more practice with the left ones. They're looking a bit sterile, aren't they? Keep going. I'm just going to fill this page with these leaves. That's a bit better, a bit better. One more. So when you've got some left and some right, shall we try and put two together so it looks like one's overlapping the other one? So this one here. So I've got this little one here. I'm going to try and do one like crossing its path. So I'm just going to go a little bit higher. I'm just going to do and I'm just going to bring it down. We see how we've got like two crossing paths there. So a left one and a right one. Try not to do them the same height. Try and make one bigger than the other. Let's try one here. No, but I'm running out of space now. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to swap out for this one, and I'm going to turn it over. I don't want to waste it. Just move it out of the way for now. And I'm just going to practice crossing some over. So I'm going to do a right one. And then I'm going to do a left. I'm just going to go a little bit higher. Just so it looks like they've crossed paths. Lindsay, no, I don't always go top to bottom. I do mostly actually go bottom to top, but I think the easiest way to learn is top to bottom first, and then you'll find what's best for you. So I think it's on your wrist. If you try bottom, let's try bottom to top. Looking less like, oh, I was sat at the top there, did you see? Looks like an X, doesn't it? So I'm just trying to get you to have the confidence to cross those leaves. But the question is, you can do both if you want to. It's whatever's you're confident with. I don't think there are any rules as to top or bottom. What do you do, Lindsay? What is everybody else doing? Is everybody else doing top to bottom or bottom to top? I find bottom to top easier. All right, okay. Bottom to top. Actually, I don't mind either. I'm completely honest, I don't mind either. Bottom to top easier, yeah. I'll just let people practice those, and then I'm just going to get another piece of watercolour card, and I'm going to trim it down. So our masterpiece today, guys, is going to be on an A5, so half an A4. If you're working on A4 with your practice sheets, that's fine. But the masterpiece, I'm not going to overwhelm you, we're going to do half of an A4, which is A5. Okay, I'm just going to trim it down now. Okay. Rosie, have a lovely day, sweetheart. I'm just going to set these aside. How are we all doing? How are we all doing? I'm sure we're all okay. I'll just give you a second to do those last few leaves, and then we're going to move on to our masterpiece. Brace yourselves, guys. Brace yourself. Matter of life or death, you know. I'm joking. It's a piece of card. Come on. I'm just getting some tissue. Okay. It's always good to have some tissue because if you have a really wet brush, it's sometimes cool to take the water out so you don't flood your project. Okay, so tissue, nice piece of A5 card. Everybody's doing fine. Concentration's brilliant. Well done. Oh, waiting in anticipation. It's all exciting, isn't it? So let's crack on, hey? So let's do our masterpiece. So we're going to do, on this masterpiece, we're going to do a standard egg. Let's get rid of that blob on there. It's going to end up on my project, isn't it? So let's turn our project over here, look. Yep, drink. I haven't got one, Lindsay. Tim did disappear to make me one, and he has not come back. So I think I'm just going to have to drink. I'm joking. So we're going to have 3 flowers on our project, okay? And we're going to have one that's upright, we're going to have one that's left of arc, and we're going to have one that's right of arc, okay? And I'll show you where to position those. If you're a little bit worried about your composition, don't worry, I can help you with that. So a standard one, egg, and I'll refer to them as eggs. They won't look like eggs on your project, I promise. So a standard one, a left, and we're going to go a right. Now, as your confidence grows, you might do a whole bunch of different eggs in different ways and where they're all looking and things like that. But as a starting point, let's just do those 3. So standard, left and a right. But within those standard left and rights, we need to create the cracked tops. Can we see this here? So I'm going to pick the one that I like the design the best of. So I like this one. It's a little bit quirky at the top. I like this one as well. And I quite like this one. So when I paint my first one, I'm going to paint my standard one, like on its bottom, the egg on its bottom, and I might do it with this sort of style top. So shall we go ahead and play? Are we ready? Good morning, Irene. We'll catch you later, sweetheart. So I'm going to clean my brush. Now, you can get tulips in plethoras of colours, we understand that. Bright yellows with a dash of red, excuse me. However, today I'm going to go a pale, very simplistic looking tulip. So you can go a yellow base if you've got like a tan colour, which is ochre. We see this one here. Or if you'd like to go the bright yellow here, like this one here. Okay, what we are going to do though is whilst it's wet, we're going to drop another colour in it as well to give it that little bit of extra dimension, a little bit of reality, make it real, you know what I mean? So for my base colour, and you can do your own colour, if you are starting out and a little bit nervous, I would probably say try and do similar colours to me. If you haven't got the ochre, maybe do a really soft yellow in your star sheets, whatever you've got in here, okay? Or if you've got a brown, maybe push it back and do a really, really pale brown. So first of all, my tulips, I'm going to do this. I'm going to keep it dead easy, guys. And the one that's just standard, just a standard shaped egg, I'm just going to pop in the centre at the top, about here. Okay, just about here. Okay, so let's paint that one in. So just stand by, just watch me do the first one. Let me just clean my palette here because I've got not much space to paint. So just hold your horses till I've done the one, and then you can do it along with. I'll start with a nice clean palette. And I'm on the smooth side of my card too. I'm just going to mix some of this lovely ochre colour here. Now I'm going to do like an ochre, pale ochre, and then I'm going to drop some lovely pink in. That's what I'm doing today. Now you can do them in the traditional reds and yellows, the blues and whites. Totally your call. I'm just going to mix a little bit of this lovely rose colour here. So I've got it ready to go. And I'm just going to mix a little bit more of this ochre because we are doing 3 flower heads. Okay. So mix your colour first, then you're literally good to go. And then we only have to just add a dash of water if it dries out a little bit by the time we come to it. So mix your 2 colours. Your 2 colours are your choice. However, if you want to do the same as me, then I'm doing like a pale tan and a little bit of a rose colour. So going back to our practice sheet, yeah, the egg, the standard egg, that's what we're going to do first. But I've got to get that crack in the top. You remember our quirky crack in the top. I'm just going to pick up some of this lovely ochre, and I'm just going to do exactly what we did on our practice sheet, okay? So I'm going to just paint in an egg. So I'm going to go round, and then I'm going to go round, like so. And then I'm just going to give it a lovely top. So I'm just going to put in those squiggles. And then I'm going to fill it in. Now, when I come to fill it in, if you want to leave some white space, please leave white space. If you are a professional watercolourist or are a little bit more advanced, you will know that you can take the colour out, you can add colour, or you can leave white space, okay? Go ahead and do it, okay? So I'm just push that colour around. I've created my sort of lovely egg effect there. You see? And I've got my little crack in the top there. And you can see I have left a little bit of white space in there too. So I'll let you all do that one first. I'm just going to tidy it up. I have got a bit of a shake this morning. That's probably due to no sleep. So I'll just tidy it up a little bit. And I'll just hold that up a little bit higher so you can see. But I'm going for the pale, remember? So you can see that white space, and then you've got that lovely crack at the top with the cracked egg. Or people who are just tuning in, probably thinking, what? Cracked egg? What's going on? Can we see that there? A lovely, lovely pale colour on there. And then I'm just going to take some of our lovely rose colour, pick up some of that rose. I'm just going to take out some of the water out my brush because it's saturated. And all I'm going to do is, you know where our cracks are at the top? I'm just going to drop a little bit of pink in. Maybe a bit more, Toni. You see here? So you know the sort of tips of our cracks we just painted in? I'm going to add in a spot of pink. You see that here? And I'm just letting the water pull it down a little bit. Can you see it's just doing its own thing? So I need some more on those. So I'm just going to keep dropping that pink in. Now you can go down the edges if you want to. You see that there? Pull it down a little bit if you want to. Drop some pink in. And it's still working its magic. And you can add as much pink or as much colour as you want, okay? So have the confidence. It is a piece of card. And I would probably say take today's class as not trying to be a perfectionist. Today is just your pre-run. When you've gone off air, we've all gone off air, go and get another piece of card and learn from what you didn't like in the first piece, because that's normally what happens. So I'm happy with that. So that's sort of my egg that's meant to be on its bottom, okay? So I'm going to take my real pale colour again, and I'm going to do a little one here. And remember we said left of arc on this one? So this time I'm going to go left. Might just do it a little bit smaller too. So that one's quite big. So this time I'm going a little bit smaller. So I've painted my egg in there, look. You see that there? So that's the base of my egg. And then I'm just going to put some cracks in. Go a bit different this time. You see that there? And then I'm going to fill it in. But I am going to leave some white in there, okay? So remember to leave some white space in there somewhere. You see that there? And I'm going to do exactly the same as I have done with this one here. I'm just going to pick up some of that lovely pink. And whilst it's wet, I'm just going to drop some pink into the tip of the crack at the top of the egg. And then what will happen is it will just carry the colour because my card is wet. I'm just try not to faff like I am because I'm just going adding more detail. There we go. I know you're all concentrating because nobody's talking to me. That's good. Nobody talk to me. Keep concentrating. So now we have sort of 2 eggs. We have our one on its bottom. We have one left of arc and we need one right of arc, don't we? However, before I'm going to go on to my right of arc one, can you see how this pink has sort of faded out and this one's brighter? What happens with watercolours, they always dry 2 shades lighter, maybe even more. So whilst it's still wet, I'm just going to pick up some more rose and I'm just going to add a little bit more pink here. Just to maybe make it a little bit darker if I can, if it'll allow me. Drop a little bit more colour in that, into those cracks at the top. Because my flowers are quite pale, so I really would trying to get that definition in there with that striking like rose colour. See there? And this one's starting to dry as well, so I'm just going to add a bit more in here so that rose colour is a little bit more striking. So I'll not ask you how you're all getting on because you're all going to end up stepping away from what you're actually concentrating on. So let's move on to our third one. So let's do right of arc. Okay, right of arc this time. So we're doing our egg right of our page. Okay, I'm not going to make it look like a triangle because that's so predictable, isn't it? And flowers just never fall in a triangle. So I'm just going to bring it in a little bit just to make it look a little bit more realistic. I'm just going to turn my page around here and then I'm just going to do another one here. So round. Like so. So that's sort of the bottom of my egg. And then at the top here, I'm just going to go in and add those sort of rugged cracks or lines, whatever it is how you're doing it. And then I'm just going to fill it in, but I am going to leave some white. Try and leave white if you can. Round it off a little bit, it's looking a bit square. Like so, can we see that there? And then whilst it's wet, just take the water out my brush. I'll pick up some of the lovely pinky colour and I'm just going to drop this into the tip of my crack on my egg. Oh, I'll see you later, Jill. Off to the hairdressers. Happy painting. Thanks, Jill. We'll see you later. Keep adding that pink. And keep adding that. Can you see I keep adding that touch of rose just to try and keep its vibrancy in those tips of my flowers while it's wet? Because when it dries, like I say, it does dry light. So whilst you're all still busy, I'm just keeping adding that lovely pink to the tips Keep trying to keep that vibrancy as much as I can. Oh, hi, Donna. I hope you're well, sweetheart. Lovely to see you. So, I think I'm happy with that. I don't think I'm going to faff too much because you know what it's like. Are you a faffer? Who's a faffer? No, don't answer that because you'll tear away from your painting. I'll let you tell me later who's a faffer. So you can see from our practice sheet, look already, our eggs into tulip heads. Can we see that? How cool is that? Hey? Super cool. Okay, so shall we move on to getting these connected in some way instead of having 3 floating eggs? Oh, thanks, Donna. Donna says it's beautiful. It's not, you know, I don't always deliver in live studio. It's a bit stressful thinking, oh my gosh, if mine's a hot mess, how can I expect everybody else's at home to be cool? But you know what it is. It is what it is, hey? So I'm just going to get rid of this ochre colour now because I think I'm done with that. But I am going to keep the rose because I feel like I'm going to have to keep going with the pink to get it as nice and vibrant as I can. So shall we mix a green? So you're going to go for a nice, like, dark green if you can. In fact, we're going to go for 2 greens, but the darker one is the big leaves that come out the jar, you know, like the ones that we've been practicing on this sheet, these ones. These are the ones that are going to be in the darkish colour. But I'm also going to mix some of my light one as well. I'm not bothered if they're mixed together either, because it's still green, I'll still get a beautiful colour. So mix 2 greens, whatever you've got in your palette. Hey everyone, Donna's coming to studio. Going to come and do some fun techniques with you all. We're just trying to get a date in the diary. Oh, it's difficult, isn't it, dates? I don't know, you know, I have so many lines through my diary. Cancelled. I bet everybody else is the same. So I'm just going to take this lovely green here and I'm going to connect my sort of flowers. I'm going to make them really pretty. Oh, David's saying, thank you for taking the time for us today. You're very welcome. I'm not doing any. Oh, I have. I've got a party this afternoon, but with my boy being like he has been, we're not sure what's happening yet. So I'm going straight to the chemist after here, though. So shall we sort of bring our tulips into some sort of formation here? So as we know, tulips sort of do have the droopy element of it. So what I'm going to do is use the very tip of your brush. I don't want chunky tree chunks on your tulips where they come down like that. You need to be as delicate as you can, and the way to do that is just lift your brush like vertically, and that's where you'll get the nice tip from your brush. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm just going to connect it to the base, and don't worry if the green runs into your tulip, it looks okay, it's more realistic. So I'm just going to draw myself a line there. Don't worry, we're going to build on it. Okay, and then I'm just going to sort of bring this one down here. So I'm doing it so lightly here. That the lines are not even properly connected. So this one's going to come down here. Okay, and then another one. And this one is drooping, so I'm going to give this one a nice curve. Oh. So I'll let you all get your curves in. I'll not put you under pressure to rush those because it's really important that you get good stems on your flowers because it's a focal point, believe it or not. I know the focal point is here, but if these are not right, this is going to look odd. Oh, Wendy's saying she definitely needs to have a go. She's got all the kit, but she's not sure yet. So maybe just have a play in your own time. Wendy, if you've just got a spare half an hour, just doing some leaves and things like that. And probably by the time you look up, you'll have been painting for a couple of hours and had the time of your life, because that's normally what happens. Oh, Heather's anniversary today. 46 years. Wow. Have you not put him under the patio yet, Heather? That's an achievement. So, I'm just going to... What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to... Obviously, this flower head would not... This stem would not carry the weight of that head. So we need to sort of connect them a little bit by making the top of the green a little bit fatter. You know, so it's a little bit wider. So I'm just going to paint the green in a little bit wider. Can we see that there? So I'll pop like a little, how can I best explain? Like a little triangle. And I'm just thickening my stem because I'm confident now I've got the guideline in there. Can you see that there? So already I have a lovely flower connected with that triangle. Pop that triangle in there. And you can take the green up the side as well a little bit if you want to. Just make it look realistic, okay? Don't put yourself under pressure if it's bled into that lovely ochre colour because it looks really, really pretty. So shall we do the same with this one as well? So let's pop that little triangle in there just so it's a bit more realistic. Now I'm just going to turn my artwork around. I'm just going to make that stem a little bit fatter. I'm using that lovely silver light coloury green. And then at the top, I'm going to do it with my top as well. And I'm just going to bring it down. Make it a little bit more fatter. So we've sort of like got a little piece of a masterpiece coming together. So if you're not a painter, well done so far. Even if you're not happy with it, remember this is your practice run with me. You can then take it yourself and chop and change and learn from what you didn't like. Make it better. So we've got our lovely sort of composition going on now, haven't we? So now we need to get some of those big leaves in there. But before we do that, I would like to add some dimension to this green. So we've got lovely texture in our sort of egg shapes at the top, and then we've got this lovely green coming down, but it is green, okay? And this is where your darker colour comes into play. So whilst it's a little bit wet, I'm just going to take the water out of my brush. I'm just going to take some of the darker green. I'm just going to sort of spot it into the wet paint, if it's still wet, hopefully, a little bit. So I'm just tapping with the tip into the stem. And we see now I've got a little bit of darkness in there. Not all the way down. I don't want it all the way down, then that I'm back to square one with one flat colour. But can you see how we've got that dimension in there? I'm just going to take that the green right to the top if it'll allow me. If it's still a little bit wet, if it's wet enough, just drop a little bit in there. And now I've got that texture. Can we see we've got a bit of light green and a bit of dark green. And I am going to add a little bit down here as well. Not too much. There we go. Don't worry if you have the break in a line. It looks really realistic if you've got the confidence to leave the break. Everything doesn't have to be, you know, symmetrical or anything like that. So I'm just popping a little bit of dark green in here too. So this is just going to add that dimension, or that sort of elevate the sort of flatness of that green. I'm not going to do it all. So now you can see from these two to this one, how different they look, just from popping spots of dark green in and around. Let's add a little bit of dark green in this one too. So as you can see, my dark green's pretty much disappeared into nothing, so I'm going to have the confidence to add that next. Add a bit darker. And it's just about the layer building. You'll see as it starts to dry off, oh, it's drying. I've been too careful there. It's sort of dried into nothing. And look now I've gone in and added that spot of dark green into that lovely sort of light grass green. that now we have sort of something that's not a sterile image. So hopefully so far we're good at this point. Now, if you like what you see and you adore what you see and you love what you see, I would say pop it to one side and save it. If you love it and you're frightened now to death that your masterpiece is going to get absolutely ruined, as soon as you add some leaves, pop it to one side and do it again. And then on the second one, add the leaf. Is that okay? Because sometimes I feel like, oh, I've ruined it now, I've put the leaves on. And then people don't then go and do it again. So if you're happy with what you see so far, pop it to one side and do it again. And then what happens, the more that you do it, you're practicing this part of it, okay? And you're thinking, well, I'm going to put the leaves on this one because at least I've got my nice one to the side, okay? Lindsay's saying her tulips are too round. Okay, well, next time, make some eggs, Easter eggs. Or Jeannie Quinn, hi, sweetheart, I've not seen you for a while. I hope you're well. So, shall we get some bump in here so it looks like we haven't just got 3 pretty tulips? So I'm going to get some of the green and just this dark green, and I am going to water it down a little bit. And remember our practice sheet? So what I'm going to do, I think, on this one is I think I'm going to do one coming from here and down, and then I might do one coming from here and down. So it looks like a little bit of a bouquet. See if we can get rid of some of this space where everything's floating. Now wait till I've done it first and then think about where you might want to put it on yours, because where I'm putting it on mine might not work for where you're putting them on yours, okay? So I have my brush loaded with a lot of this green. Now it's wet. Remember, you need to see through it like a puddle. I'm just going to go for it. I am quite nervous myself, so you're not the only one at home, hey? So I'm going to go tip. Let's come down a bit. Ooh, let's go tip. And I'm going to push it down. And I'm going to bring it down to here. You see that there? Not quite dark enough, so I'm just going to go over it. I'm happy with that. Whew, and now breathe. So I'm just going to make it a little bit fatter. So I'm just going to do tip and I'm just going to make it a little bit fatter. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to do one from maybe here-ish. We could get another one in maybe. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to go for it, everyone. So tip. So this goes back to our cross. If you remember the cross on our practice sheet. Just going to make it a little bit. And I think I might do one coming from here as well. A real droopy one. Now don't worry that you can see the green over the leaves, because these leaves are going to be dark. Just get our base layer in there. Now you can tidy them up if they're not quite as fat or as thin as you'd like. Tidy them up if you want to. I might extend this one a little bit if I can, if it'll allow me. A bit better, yeah. Happy with that. I'll just wait for everybody to get those leaves in there. Have the courage to do it. It's a piece of card. So Patricia, this is not another course. This is just because we were supposed to open today, sweetheart, but obviously with the government guidelines, it's been pushed on to the 19th. So I just felt like, well, I would have been here anyway. And I know how much you all thoroughly love the painting classes on a Saturday morning. So I just thought, you know what, I will enjoy it myself as well. So that's why we're here today. So come and join in. So whilst they're a little bit wet, just going to mix some of our darker green, and as we did with the sort of stems of our tulips, if you remember, just get rid of some of that water. I'm just going to drop some green in. So I'm going to sort of pound some darker green in, like we did with our stems. And because it's wet underneath, the water will just carry it. So I'm going to do, this leaf is going to be my focal leaf. So I'm going to just drag some of that dark green in like so. I'm just going to let the water just carry it off, and then I'll fiddle with it in a bit. And I might pop some darker green in the tip of this one too. We see here, so when you start adding that darker colour, you sort of like start to get the definition, so things don't look flat. So if your images is looking flat, like Sue's saying, as are looking quite flat, just let the water, not say go off, taper off, let it dry out a little bit. It still needs to be a bit wet, and then try adding a darker colour just to get the dimension. I'm just trying to add that darker green in where there would be a shadow. So this leaf is my focal one. I don't know what's happened there. I'm going to leave it though, I like it. You know how I like my abstract. I think I must have dropped some water on that. So think about where one leaf crosses the other, where you would get a shadow underneath. So this is my focal leaf here. So I know I would get a shadow cast over this one underneath. I'll drag it down a little bit. I'll just let you get those leaves in there. Is your house, who's that? Roseanne, my issue seems to dry out too fast, then gets dry. Are you getting a puddle? Like, you know, like I say, when you're a kid, you get the puddle, so it's super wet. Try and get the puddle where it's really wet. I'm using my Himi ones, which is the ones I popped in the sale yesterday, but I think they've all gone now. We have other ones. There's some Thirsty Brush ones on the website. We have, what else have we got on there? There's quite a few on there if you're looking for one. If the ones that you're working with at the moment are not quite working. But if not, maybe drop down to your local range, or who else was Hobbycraft there, you know, just have a look. So whilst I'm talking, the watercolour is sort of going off, so I can go back in and I can just add more green. You know, just to define those ends of the leaves. I'm just going to keep going because I have the strip of that I've added it really dark there. I'm just going to drag it out. Don't be hard on yourselves, guys, if you're just a painter for fun. You can't be brilliant straight away. You can't. I promise you, you're not born to be brilliant straight away. It does take practice. I'm just basically getting that dark green and just making sure that I've separated my leaves so they all don't look like a hot mess. So they're all sort of one on top of the other, if that makes sense. I'll just pop a line under there, and that'll sort of separate that one from that one. And at home, I would absolutely faff. I would play. I would keep adding the shade in. I'd just have, and particularly if I'm on my own, I would just have so much fun, just moving the colour around, defining my leaves a little bit, you know. And maybe that's what you guys could do this afternoon. Maybe I'm just softening. Move the colour around, just enjoy it. What it's all about. So Roseanne, when I add the paint, I'm get string lines on the colours, not blending well, even though brush appears quite wet. Are you getting puddles, Roseanne? If you're getting puddles, it's too wet. I know. Mine now shows I'm faffing, Lindsay. Right, so I'm just going to leave those to dry, and I can go on in and add some more detail later. But I still have quite a bit of space that I would like to fill. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take some of the green, and I'm going to just turn my artwork upside down, and I'm going to do some lines as if, you know, maybe some flower heads have dropped off or things like that. So I'm just going to do some little spark, very tip of your brush here for this though, guys. And I'm just going to like pull it from behind something. Let's pull it from behind this leaf here. I'm just going to do some like lines as if, you see that there? So I'm just sort of filling spaces here. So I'm just doing a couple of lines, like sketchy lines, just to fill those spaces. So my artwork is upside down, don't worry if you're seeing it funny. I'm going to turn it around, look, and we've got rid of that awkward space there. These are great ways to fill awkward spaces. So just filling in those little awkward areas. So the lines are not solid lines. If you do solid lines, you'll end up with a mess then, a hot mess. Okay, so it's just to get rid of that awkwardness on there. Hi Patricia, I hope you're well. So, whilst you're all sort of playing with your greenery, and we see how we've got some detail here that's going to miss on our flowers. Now, a great way to add a little bit of detail, if you want to, is just take some paint direct to your brush, like you would as if it was a pencil, and just add some lines in to create like henna or just a few little details in there, just to bring back that detail, and maybe go outside the painting too. You see there? So now I've got that striking detail, which I can't get when I'm watercolouring because it just dilutes back. I'm just adding some lovely quirky lines in there just to bring my masterpiece together. See that there? Just to tidy off the heads. I don't want them floating. I'm very tip of my brush here, not heavy-handed at all. Just got that little bit of detail in there. And when the greens, now my green's dry-ish, I'm going to take the green and then dip it in my paint direct like it's a pencil or a pen. Yep, Bernadette, don't give up, keep watching, and then you can go back and do it again if you want to. And then all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to add a little bit of detail in my leaves. Not too much, but a little bit of line detail, just to bring it off my page a little bit. And again, separate the areas if they're sort of blending into one. You can spend a lot more time doing this at home. Could have done with some bigger leaves. If I'd have had the confidence, I would have. I'm not that confident to do a right big one though. Probably look like a hot mess. And then with the colour I've got left, the green, you're all going to hate me now. I'm just going to add a few splats. So dry back to nothing. In the green, and I also have a little bit of the rose, so I'm not going to waste it. I'll put some rose on the flower heads if I can, try and get them on there. And I'm going to leave it at that. How are we all doing? How are we all doing? Let me know. I think I'm too heavy-handed. That comes in time, Bernadette. I was heavy-handed to start with, and you always are conscious of a heavy hand. That's why the bigger leaves are really difficult to do, because we teach you so much about stepping away from being heavy-handed, but then to get the big leaves, you really have to put the pressure on. So it's all just practice, practice, practice. I've got a lot of rubbishes on there. Looking good. So you can post your makes up on our Eureka fan page. Have the courage to do it, guys, because, you know, this is how we learn, isn't it? Let's have a look. Oh, well done, everyone. At least you've taken part. So this afternoon, if you're free, just continue on. If you're not quite sure of the colour, do a different colour. Remember, you can pause this video later this afternoon if you're doing it later this afternoon, and you can do it in your own time. So pause me when I've told you to do something. Do it, take your own time to do it, then press play again, then pause me again. And it doesn't matter how long it takes you. If you've enjoyed yourself and you're pleased with something at the end, I'm not asking you to be like overwhelmed with the art and it's going to go in a gallery, because that ain't never going to happen, unfortunately. But, you know, if you're happy with what you've done, pop it on your mantelpiece and just have a look at it, have a walk around and just, you know, appreciate the fact that we're not artists, okay? We'll pick up a brush, we'll have a go at it. It's just stepping away from your norm, your dies, your stamps, and just, you know, losing yourself for an hour. That's what it's all about. So let's have a look. Flats are great. So I hope you've had a lovely morning. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be sat on the couch after Tom's party trying to find everybody's pictures. I will comment, and if there's something where I think there's something amiss, I will help you out if I can. Okay, but have the confidence, just keep going with it. These things don't happen overnight. It takes time.